Hello everyone, Happy New Year, happy 2025. I hope you had such a lovely, relaxing Christmas break. I was annoyingly ill over Christmas. Again, that's 2 years in a row, which is just sod's law because honestly, I swear my body just waits till it's Christmas and then it's like all the illness. But I'm feeling much better now and I was able to have some downtime towards kind of the latter part of Christmas. I made time to do lots of crafty things and go on nice walks with Yoli, and it was really, really lovely. I also had pretty much a complete, more or less, technology switch off. Like, I didn't open my laptop in about 2.5 weeks, which is unheard of for me. This is also my first time filming a video in about 3 weeks, so it always feels a little bit weird when I haven't done it for a while. But yeah, it just has made me realise that I want to do that more often. I think I need to make time to step away from screens more. I don't think we realise quite how addicted to screens we are until we take them away for a little while. So yeah, that is a big New Year's resolution for me. But one of the things I also got sorted over the Christmas period is I got a new gimbal, which is the thing that means I can pick my camera up really easily and kind of take you round to plants and it looks nice and smooth and not jolty. And I haven't been able to do that in ages because my gimbal has been out of action. So I thought we could kick off this video this year with kind of like a complete houseplant walkthrough. I could take you through kind of everything and just show you where all my plants are at. I can take you through some of the drama that's happened over the Christmas period because there have been some things that have gone wrong. There's still, in fact, quite a few things that I haven't dealt with yet, but I can talk you through my plans for those plants. And yeah, just kind of give you an idea of where I'm at because, yeah, there's lots to show. But first, God, this feels weird. But first, hello. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, so that is the plan for today's video. It's just going to be a very casual walkthrough of everything, and knowing me, I waffle. It will probably go on for a while, so by all means grab a cup of tea, grab some plants to repot, and yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So this is a slightly different gimbal to the one I had before, and this is my first time using it, but I think in theory, well, hey, I click that button and everything spins round. So I did give this room a clean yesterday because, oh my God, it was just Christmas-fied. Like, we had piles of recycling down there. It's not perfect, but it looks so much better than it did before. And before I start taking you through the plants, let's just say a quick hello to the baby girl who is very cute and asleep in her bed, which still lives on the sofa. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, you are such a good girl. Yes, you are. You had a lovely Christmas, didn't you? But yeah, so let's start just here and I'll just kind of take you round. In fact, let's start right here in the middle. So my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, this one I potted up in, I transferred, to semi-hydro a while ago, I think about 4 months ago, in a Patreon video, and I was like, I'm going to train it to go up above the door, and it got to about there in that video, and oh my God, it has grown a ridiculous amount since then. And I don't know if you can really tell, but if you look at the top, it's kind of starting to go back on itself, and that is literally just because that vine fell down, and I didn't stake it back up for ages, so it started chasing the light and now it's growing in a bit of a weird way. So I should really get up there and kind of try and gently retrain it again to go around the mirrors. Also, for those of you that are maybe new to my channel, I put those mirrors there probably about a year ago now just to try and reflect some of the natural light from the windows over here because I obviously I'm very lucky, I've got those lovely south-facing windows there that provide really nice light, but this side of the room doesn't have any light on it at all and it can get very, very, very dark. And I was like, if I want to be able to grow plants there, then I need to do something, and that has just allowed me to reflect some of the natural light, and it's worked pretty well. I've got several plants you can see over there that are quite happy. Also, I have got the main lights on at the moment. If I turn them off, that is what it's looking like in here. And that is probably a more accurate representation of what the light, like natural light in here actually looks like. As I say, it is a very sunny day, so it looks very bright at the moment, but it's not, despite what you might think, it's not actually the brightest of rooms. And obviously I won't take you through every individual plant. I'm just going to do some updates. If you want to see all of my plants, I did a plant tour last year, so I'll link that down below. But this one here, so she says moving on to the plant next to it, but my big variegated Monstera that obviously isn't particularly variegated, like some of the leaves have got little bits of variegation, but not a huge amount. This one's doing okay, but to be honest, it's one that, I don't know, and maybe it's just because I'm looking at it in the space that it's in, but I kind of feel a little bit like I've fallen out of love with it. I feel like it's there to add some greenery, and I like the look of it kind of merged with my other plants. I like the fact that there's not just a blank wall there, but I'm like, I don't know how much I actually love the plant. And this is one that was at one point my absolute pride and joy, but I think like it's got so battered around the bottom because obviously Yoli's tail has whacked off so many leaves. And I'm just like, I don't know. So that's one that I'm going to very much rethink this year. I might potentially chop it up and start again. I'm not quite sure at the moment, but yeah, that's one that is on my kind of like maybe I don't know list, because I've tried really hard to have a bit of a downsize in the last year. You might not be able to tell, but like the space, to me at least, feels much kind of clearer and more organized than it was before. The bedroom, I cannot say the same for. I've got things like, in fact, I'll put a clip in so that you can see, but I've got like my big euphorbias in there. I've got the one that used to live on the back just here, my philodendron Dean McDowell, my Jose Bueno, things like that. I've got all of those through in the bedroom with plans to either chop and prop or wait till I've got a little bit more space for it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but it does feel like I've been able to create a little bit more organized chaos, let's say, in this space. And then, yeah, that is, so pothos just there, I've got that as a water propagation, and the roots of that one, I don't know if you can see from down here, but the roots are not good. I saw them over Christmas and I was like, I really need to do something about that because they are all starting to rot in there. So I need to act pretty fast with that, or else it's not going to be a happy bunny. You can see it's already lost a few leaves just here, and that will continue if I don't deal with the problem. But then all of my hanging plants, they're all looking okay. In fact, this kind of applies to the ones up there as well on this side. They're looking okay, but these are some that got seriously neglected over the Christmas break. As I say, I did have the flu for, I mean, intensely about 3 days. It actually didn't go on for as long as it could have done. But, you know, when you just don't want to do anything, and like the thought of doing plant stuff when you're feeling that unwell is just, oh my God, it's the last thing on your mind. And obviously to get to my hanging plants, it involves climbing up a little ladder, and I just was not feeling it. And I did look at my hanging plants before the Christmas break started, and I was like, oh God, they all do really need a water. And it meant that they went probably about a week more than they should have done with no water at all. And although most things have kind of bounced back quite well, I have pulled so many leaves off things like this pothos, this one here, I've lost so many leaves. I can see, in fact, a yellow leaf there on my CB blue, which is in semi-hydro, so that one did a little bit better. But yeah, there's just loads of them where I've had to remove so much growth, which is very frustrating. Actually, if we come around here and look at this one at the end, oh God, it's in a bad way. This is my Scindapsus Silver Hero, and oh God, just look at that. It is just crispy and curly and it looks awful. I've taken some cuttings of that one and I've stuck them in a prop box. So in fact, I've got loads of cuttings of that plant just like around my flat. So I'm thinking I might have to rebuild that one from scratch because I watered it and I have a horrible feeling it might have just started to rot, and I haven't got around to doing anything about that yet. There's also my philodendron Brazil up there. You can see it's got some yellow leaves towards the top, and That one's just been looking a little bit unhappy for a while. So I think, again, that's another one I should probably get out of its pot, have a look at the roots and just see what needs to be done, because it has been giving me all the signs and it is just one that I have been neglecting a little bit. Otherwise though, I've got lots of Hoyas and stuff up here, and obviously they are quite hardy. Most things have bounced back better than maybe they should, than they deserve to. But one thing, actually, I know I'm moving in a very weird order, but my Monstera over here, which has been one of my most like solid, reliable plants that has very rarely ever given me any grief, has suddenly, over the Christmas break, started doing something very weird. And if you just stand back and look at it, it looks absolutely fine. But if you look at its lower leaves, can you see all of those tinges of yellow? And I can't quite work out why that's happening. I don't think I've overwatered the plant, but I mean, the obvious thing is to get in there, get the plant out of its substrate and have a look at the roots. In fact, it doesn't look as bad on camera. Yeah, you can see quite well there. Do you see? It's just a tinge. It's not awful. Like, you almost wouldn't know if you didn't know the plant, but I just know that that is very out of character for that plant. And the leaves at the top currently look absolutely fine, but I know often if a plant is going downhill, it's the lower leaves that can often start to show the signs of stress first, and then if you don't act, it will kind of slowly lose more and more. I did move the grow light that I had on this plant up there. I know it looks a little bit silly because I've just kind of got a big wire thing just there, but I was like, is it getting too much light maybe? I know that might sound like a weird thing to say because the plant is in quite a dark corner, but I have only introduced the grow light fairly recently, so I was like, maybe that's why. Yeah, I'm not overly worried about it. I do think it is a problem that can be solved and tackled, but it's one of the things that I'm like, oh, this is one of my favourite plants. So yeah, like, I don't know, like, look at that. It's just not great. But yeah, as I say, the leaves at the top are beautiful. It is giving me gorgeous growth, and that currently doesn't look like anything to worry about. But yeah, so that is something on my list of things to do. But let's try and remain a little bit more organised in the order we go in. So I've just taken you through some of the hanging plants up there. As I say, things on the whole are doing okay. This one here, my Hoyopubicalix Hawaiian, that one I think I need to again get down and have a look at, because although this section of growth here looks very healthy, it's one that I typically don't let drain through. And I know I always say that you should do that. You should always get your plants out of their pots or out of their pretty pots and in their nursery pots and let them thoroughly drain. That's one that I get a little bit lazy with, and I usually just take the watering cans straight up to. But yeah, it has lost quite a lot of leaves around the top. It has had quite a bit of yellowing. So I think, again, that's another thing that's maybe not urgent, but does need addressing. Also, my Boston fern here, love this plant, but it has been due for a repot for God knows how long. Like, I want to say about 5 months now. So, God, all the things on my list going into the new year, but that is one that I actually, to be honest, would quite like to maybe not grow as a hanging plant anymore. Like, I love it so much, but I feel like up there, I can't really appreciate it that much. Like, although it's quite nice and I can see like green coming through when the sun shines and stuff, it's not, I don't know, I just feel like it's a plant I'd like to grow in the main space a little bit more. And then in the kitchen, I haven't got that many plants here at the moment. We've tried to kind of clear a little bit of kitchen space. And so, yeah, that's meant getting rid of a few plants, mainly cuttings, mainly things I've just potted up. But yeah, this is the least planty part of the flat, I would say. It's looking fine. One that I'm actually really surprised is doing so well is my Philodendron Tortum, because this is one that I honestly neglect so much. And I know a few of you have messaged me at points being like, this is a plant that I really struggle with. What's going on with it? And I never really know what to say, because I'm like, mine lives in quite a low light spot. It's in semi-hydro. And apart from that, I do nothing. And it is still giving me lovely growth. So it's one that I would like to probably do more to. I'd like to try and bring out the potential in this plant a little bit more, but for the time being, it does just seem so happy there, and it's just so easy for me. So yeah, that is how it is staying. And then this back bit here, like, I'm aware that this is chaos. I'm aware that this is not not how I would like it to be long term, but since I installed the Sansi grow lights here, I've obviously just been able to grow so many more things that I wouldn't have previously been able to grow in this spot. So I've kind of made it into, on the whole, like, alocasia corner. I've got loads of my alocasias here. My alocasia Jacqueline is doing so well in this spot, despite that slightly mangled leaf it gave me. Yeah, it's giving me beautiful growth. And the funny thing I've noticed that since I've put it here is it's suddenly, I know I've staked that one leaf, but apart from that, it's suddenly so upright. And that happened literally within like 24 hours of putting it under that light, because previously I had it up against my windows there and it was kind of tilting over to the windows. And I came through the next morning and I was like, this is actually quite comical how upright and erect it is. So yeah, it's clearly very happy there. I know some of you were saying to be really careful about the Sansi grow lights because they can be like ultra powerful and they can scorch the leaves. And so far with this type of plant, it has been fine. I did notice that with one of my bird of paradise leaves that was growing underneath that one did start to go quite yellow. So I actually chopped that leaf back. But on the whole, everything that's currently growing here is looking pretty good. My Alocasia Regal Shield, which I in fact got this from one of the lovely producers on Gardeners World when they came to film my segment a couple of years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. And it was a teeny tiny baby plant, and it's really sizing up now, and I'm so excited about it because I know this one has the potential to get huge. My Maranta is just there to remind myself to water it because I kept forgetting and it kept getting curly. And now I'm also pretty sure it's got fungus gnats. So I've been really bad with keeping on top of pest stuff as well over this period. So I do need to get some nematodes and other biological pest control things in place. Also, just because it's here as well, I have been trying out a new fertilizer. I know I'm usually a liquid gold leaf girl through and through, and I still very much am, but this lovely company reached out to me and they said, would I like to try some? And I've been getting on pretty well with it. It's obviously quite a weird one with fertilizer because you need to kind of wait a little bit of time to see how it's going to affect your plants, but I think considering how much I've been neglecting them over this period, everything's looking pretty good, or like as good as it can for the time being. But yeah, I have noticed the odd thrip in this area. So, I mean, nothing infestation, like awful, but yeah, I've just noticed the odd one or two. So just keeping an eye on things. And as I say, I do need to kind of get back on it with biological pest control and all the things that I always bang on about. Also, this is one of my most well-established plants from my alocasia, my variegated alocasia Frydek, one of the corms that I propagated, which is really exciting because for such a long time, all of the corms were just giving me ghost white growth. And the fact that now it is starting to give me a lovely balance does make me so happy. I think I will probably at some point maybe pot them all together and make a really big full plant, because although it is one that I feel like I've managed to get out of the kind of cycling stage, it's just one that is quite prone. It's just quite prone to cycling if it's not kept totally happy. So yeah, that is the aim, I think. And also this one hasn't given me any growth yet, any new growth in the time that I've had it, but it is the Lucky One Sinuata hybrid, and I can't remember the actual hybrid name, but I just think it's beautiful. And in this spot, I always think like it, I don't know, it almost looks like jelly bean-esque. It looks very kind of, I don't know, luminous plasticky. Is luminous the right word? Do you know what I mean? I just think it's so lovely. I'm so excited about this one. But yeah, also very sad. One of my begonias, my begonia U02, that one that is in water down there looking very sad. I accidentally knocked against that one and I snapped it off and I was like, oh God, quick, get it in water. And in fact, there's a little bit of growth down there, so it might be coming back. But yeah, I was sad about that because it was doing quite well. Also, another fun update. The alocasia longiloba silver, the one that I did a repot on in one of my videos before Christmas. This is one that I was like, it's just not giving me any growth. I've had it for absolutely ages. Since I gave its roots a little chop back, it has been doing much better. And in fact, the growth point that I was saying hasn't really budged. I don't think I'm imagining it. I think that is actually starting to push out a bit more, which is quite exciting. And I do think that although maybe it's just very, very slow, it is starting to give me some new growth. So that does feel positive. I'm still just keeping an eye on it. And I'm aware that I have kind of changed out its environment at the same time. I have changed out the spot that I was growing it in, but it hasn't complained. It seems happy. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying this little alocasia corner over here. Alocasia and anthurium, should I say. This is another one, actually. This is the Regal Bessier hybrid. And this one I put into sphagnum moss to just try and rehab some of the roots. And, oh my God, the sphagnum moss is actually quite dry. I should really rehydrate that. But on the whole, I think it's doing all right. I've noticed some new rootage, which is always good. But actually, I was going to say, looking at that leaf, that does look like it's on its way out. So yeah, another one to just keep an eye on. Sometimes when I have periods of not caring for my plants every single, not that I care for them every single day, but you know what I mean? Like when I have periods of like downtime, I often, I don't know, I fall out of the loop of looking for the things that usually I'm very good at spotting. So yeah, I think I should really just take a day and just go around and look at everything really meticulously and just see what is going on. But oh my goodness, the Anthurium Crystal Hope that I got from Grow Tropicals, this one here has grown an insane amount since I got it, and I haven't had it that long. Like this is all new growth, these big leaves that you see here. And it was really quite small when I got it, and that was only, look at Yoli watching. She's like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to yourself? But yeah, I only got it maybe 8 weeks ago, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer, but not that much. And also just look at the roots. Isn't that just crazy? And then this is where it all gets a little bit squished. All the plants around here are very much squashed together. So I may need to just like bring some out and show you. This one is doing insanely well. This is the Dieffenbachia that I actually bought after Emma's wedding. It's one of the ones that was included in her wedding, so it's a really special one to have in my collection. But it's been so fast to grow. Like, I feel like, let's have a look. Yeah, like, can you see? This leaf here has only just unfurled and has not even finished hardening off yet. And already that's a new leaf starting to push up. It's so crazy. So yeah, it's one that I'm loving growing, but if it keeps growing at this rate, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put it. But yeah, let's work round to the bits by the window because there is lots that I want to show you around there, but I think it might involve me getting my tripod because I don't think I'm going to climb through there with you. I think that might be a bit of an accident waiting to happen. But one hanging plant that I didn't show you is my Monstera dubia, which obviously I chopped up a little while ago because it had mealybugs. You may be able to see it's hanging right in the middle of the room in a very weird little contraption that I built to try and keep the plant isolated. I'm also trying to root it at the moment in sphagnum moss. Oh, sorry, Yoli. I'm sorry. I know this is going in your face. Oh, look at that look. But yeah, I'm trying to air layer and root the plant at the moment. And I'm also, although I haven't seen any more mealybugs on it for a while, I am trying to keep it out of contact with other plants. And I've chopped up a load of other sections that again are through in the bedroom at the moment. And they do seem to be doing okay. I had a couple of leaves die back, but on the whole, they're doing all right. But this one, I'm like, there's really nowhere else I can isolate it. So yeah, this is where it's staying. That's how it's doing. It's what it's looking like. it does look a little bit silly. Again, everything always looks better on camera, so I'm glad you're seeing it looking like this, because it does look a little bit silly in real life. But then, yeah, so that is that side at the moment. You'll also notice that the cabinets at the back here, they currently don't have plants in. I've got plans for both of these cabinets, but currently they are just like little storage bits, because yeah, I just haven't got around to doing things, and I keep putting off starting new projects because I'm like, I should get on top of other stuff. So I've got new plans for this one. I'm going to seal it again because I wasn't happy with the sealing I did last time. Also, if you're wondering what that weird thing is in there, that's one of Ross's little creations that he's currently working on. In fact, several of his creations that he's working on. But yeah, I've got plans for that. I just haven't got around to doing it. And this one was going to be like a big terrarium setup, which again, I haven't obviously done anything to at the moment. I think I do have plans for this one that I will hopefully be starting in the next few weeks, but there's a few things I've got to hold off on for that one. So I will let you know kind of like when we get to it. Also, talking of crafty stuff, I did so much knitting over Christmas. I'm knitting a blanket, I'm knitting a scarf. Yeah, all the fun. Ross also made several new creations. In fact, there is a really good one that he's working on. That is over here. It's still, I don't want to like pick it up and touch it because it hasn't been baked yet. It's still wet, but how cool is that? And it's going to have a little bit at the top so you can put a plant in it. And then obviously because it's glass, if you use semi-hydro, you can just monitor the reservoir, which is so cool. It's so brilliant. But yes, right, okay, where were we? Getting distracted. Yeah, so haven't done anything with those cabinets yet. I'm gonna come back to them. But then my main cabinet here, oh, there is some really, really, really exciting things happening in here, actually. The first one that I want to show you, oh my God, in fact, I've just seen something else. But the most exciting thing that is currently happening in my cabinet, I think, is my Welwitschia mirabilis. Which if you guys have watched my weird plant series, you'll probably have heard me talk about this plant, and I'll put a picture on the screen of what it looks like when it's big and mature. But basically it's commonly known as the living fossil plant, and it's absolutely insane. It can live to be, I think, about 6,000 or 7,000 years old, but it is notoriously hard to grow from seed. And I managed to get some seeds, I think about 3.5 months ago now, and it has been a struggle. I will, if you want to know all the details of it, I will happily walk you through my process. But this one has not only kept going and has not died off, because I have had some that rotted, but it is starting to, if you look very closely in the middle there, it's starting to get its main mature leaves, because these ones here, I can't remember the name of them, but they're basically the little leaves that it produces as a seedling. But then once it gives you its big, full, mature leaves, those are the leaves that it keeps for life. So it's not gonna, like, with pretty much every other plant, it will sometimes lose leaves. This one will not lose those leaves, or if it does, they won't grow back. So yeah, the fact that, oh, I'm trying to get a good angle so I can actually show you. Yeah, the fact that they are, can you see? Might just try and put a picture of it on the screen or something. Yeah, the fact that they are starting to come through just makes me so excited, because this is a plant that I am unbelievably excited to grow as a house plant. It's one that you don't see a lot, and I just feel so proud of it, having grown it from a little thing. As I say, I did lose several of the others, so this feels like a real success. Honestly, I put so many measures in place to make sure that this one stayed safe. And I've got to very carefully put it back. But yeah, also, look how sun-stressed my Dyschidia is on the back there. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a pot of several plants that I've been saying for ages I need to pot up. I've got loads of Hoyas in there. I've got, yeah, Dyschidia. I've got several things that really need separating, and they have been in sphagnum moss for such a long time. And I know that they're going to just be an absolute nightmare, so I've kind of been putting it off. But everything else on the bottom level, I don't think I did a full like cabinet walkthrough a little while ago. I think most things are just fine. This is one that I'm still struggling with, the alocasia green shield. It's just cycling like crazy and I don't seem to be able to find the right balance with it. As you can see, it is starting to give me a new leaf there, which is, I mean, I'd say exciting, but I know as soon as that one comes through, then this one's going to die off and then we're going to be back and back and back again. So yeah, that's one that I want to say I want to plan to tackle by the end of this year. Like I want to feel like I've got my head around it a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Everything else at the moment, I wouldn't say there's anything major to update you on down there. Up here, however, there are several things that I want to take you through. And the first thing, which, oh my God, makes me so happy, is my Drymonia cherry begana. And this is the plant that this time last year I got for the first time. Where is a good light to show you this? Maybe just here is the best. I got this plant, yeah, about this time last year, and it fast became my favourite plant in my collection. I just love it. It's a beautiful plant to grow, and when it gets going, it grows so quickly. And I think what happened, it got very, very tall and very top heavy, and I was like, I'll chop and propagate it. And that's when all of the issues started, and the bit that I propagated did not do well. It then got thrips, it then got mealybugs, it then just kind of rotted, and the only way that I've managed to get this plant back is by putting it back into sphagnum moss, and it now is just growing in sphagnum moss, but it looks so much healthier. So it does actually finally feel like I've got the plant back in my collection and I am going to be able to save it. I think I will probably wait until it's a little bit more mature and then I'll take some cuttings, prop them in sphagnum moss, and then maybe at some point create a big full plant, because honestly I cannot even tell you how rewarding this one is to grow. I feel so lucky to have it. When I thought that I might be losing it, I looked everywhere online trying to find more of this plant. Here in the UK, it's just not one that you seem to be able to come across very easily. So yeah, I'm very happy that I've got it back. But also my little Hoya David Cumming eye, which has done nothing for me since I got it, and I got it maybe a year ago, is actually starting to give me its first new leaf, which is so exciting, just because it is one that I was so excited about when I first got, and I've kind of just forgotten about because, yeah, nothing was happening with it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then my alocasia, what's it called? My alocasia Dragon's Breath, Heterophylla, that's it. This one gave me the most beautiful leaf over Christmas, and this is another one that I've got to say I have struggled a little bit with the cycling. Like you can see, this leaf here is kind of getting ready to die out. So again, I'd really like to think that by the end, I mean not even by the end of this year, but like ASAP, I would like to have figured out a way to keep this one going without cycling so much. It's getting really good nutrients, it's in semi-hydro, it's got a really good root system. If any of you have any advice or any tips, please do let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's looking like that, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's one that whenever I look into my cabinet, I'm just like, oh, you're gorgeous. So yeah, that was a massive wish list plant from last year that I was able to tick off, and I have no regrets with it. It is just the most wonderful plant. I love it so much. And then this one's doing quite well as well. This one's commonly known as the blue taro elephant ear, and I think it's actually a caladium. I'll put the name on the screen, but this is one that I was very kindly sent by Eastern Tropicals when I believe I inquired about another anthurium that they had and they didn't have that in stock, so they sent me one of these instead, I think, which was very nice of them. I didn't actually end up paying for this plant. But it's just one that I'm really enjoying growing. It has done a little bit of cycling, but again, I do think that that's because it should be in a bigger container. I've got it in semi-hydro, but you will not believe the rate at which this plant dries out. It is like a water guzzler beyond belief. So yeah, I think probably a pot upgrade, and then maybe I would get it out of the 2-3 leaf club. But one of the ones that I am the most excited about in my cabinet, and so this is a plant that I got thinking it was going to be so difficult, and we didn't get off on the best leg. It was a little bit of a struggle when I first got it, but it is my variegated Musa Florida, and it's just given me that leaf there, and I'm so happy. So this one I got from, oh my God, Downtown Plant Club. That's the name of the place I got it from. And it arrived, all the other plants looked amazing, but that one arrived just looking a little bit unhappy and a little bit battered, and all of its leaves kind of looked like that. I looked at the roots in a video just before Christmas and I was like, oh God, it's got root rot as well. So I chopped the roots right back and all of its leaves were just looking like that. And the roots have gone crazy, absolutely crazy. And I'm really glad that I stuck with doing things this way, because this is one that I honestly, in the comments, there were so many of you saying to do things in different ways, and I always take your advice and I always listen and kind of take things on board. But I was like, this is a plant that I'm so unfamiliar with, and so many of you were saying contradicting things. I didn't quite know which way to go, so I was like, I'm just gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna put it in sphagnum moss, keep it in my cabinet nice and warm. And yeah, as I say, it was, for me, the right decision, because the roots are amazing and it is now giving me growth that actually looks really healthy. So yeah, I'm so excited about that. I don't plan for the time being on changing anything else. I think I'm just going to let it be for a little while and see how it goes. A lot of you have then said semi-hydro for that one, but then also I've had people saying, no, under no circumstances should you do semi-hydro. So I don't know, but yeah, it's doing much better and it feels like it's on the road to recovery now, which is good. Also this little one, this is a laniata, Monstera laniata. It's just given me such a beautiful little half moon leaf. And then also, still, variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma doing really well again, ironically, since I decided to give up on the plant. Always the way, isn't it? Literally, always the way. So yeah, I don't know what my plans for that one are yet. I've got another laniata, and I think this is a laniata. Oh, is this the mint? I think it might be. This is one that, as you can see, has lost all of its leaves and is just looking very unhappy. And I think I'm probably gonna chop that one up soon and get it into a prop box and try and recess it that way, because I'm just having no luck with it. I'm finding it really hard in the cabinet. But yeah, that's kind of, I would say, an overview of things in here at the moment. I'm pretty happy with how everything's doing. Again, I've tried to have a little kind of sort out and organise of my cabinet. So I think there's space to play in here now. I think I could be doing more, but I know that obviously like things will come out of prop boxes and I'll probably get new plants this year as well, and probably get new plants this year. So yeah, I wanted to leave a little bit of space to play. Oh, one thing which isn't a plant, but it is plant related. I came across these little candle holders over Christmas in a shop by my mum's house, and I just thought that they'd make really lovely little semi-hydro containers. So I just put it in there to see what it would look like. But yeah, really like them and excited to play more with them, because I'm trying to get like more fun pots going. I know I made a video towards the end of last year kind of talking about my like crafty pot creations, like that's one that I decorated and stuff, but yeah, I'm just enjoying doing that at the moment. And then the ones down here, so again, some of these ones were a little bit neglected over Christmas. Oh my god, this one here, as you can see, this is just my neon pothos, but it's looking, a lot of its leaves are looking a little bit brown and crispy, and again, that's just because I let it dry out so much. Honestly, that plant was ridiculously dry. Again, I wasn't well and I was looking at it and I was like, oh god, I need to take it to the sink and I need to water it, and I just didn't. So it's bounced back well and it's still like looking pretty perky and pretty happy, but it's not as beautifully conditioned as it was before, let's say. This one also is doing so well. This is my Philodendron Campii Lynette, I think. Wasn't sure if it would be happy there, to be honest, because it's kind of like, I know it's got a grow light there and grow lights in the cabinet, but they're kind of close range grow lights, and I wasn't sure how much they do for this plant, but it's been growing like a weed, and like it is sizing up really beautifully. So yeah, I'm happy for the time being with how that one's doing. Oh, my begonia here. This is, oh my God, what's this one called? Begonia Lucanera, is it? I might actually be wrong about that. I don't talk about this one that much. Is it Lucanera? No, it's not. I can't remember. Again, name on the screen. But this one has suddenly just burst into life, and I'm so, so happy with how it's doing. It's got the most beautiful foliage. And yeah, like look at the little leaf just there. Lacunosa, is that what it's called? I don't know. But yeah, I popped it down here just thinking, will it be happy? And it seems like the spot for that plant because, yeah, it's giving me an unbelievable amount of growth. And in fact, and I didn't show you guys this, but if we come back round here, in one of the boxes that, I mean, does not look nice here, it's just very much a practical box, I've got some little begonias that I will show you more kind of close up at some point soon, but one of the lovely Etsy sellers, and I'll put her details on the screen, one of the lovely Etsy sellers that I have bought off quite a lot this year, very, very kindly sent me a few very exciting begonias just before Christmas, just to say thanks for buying so much from me this year, I guess, which I thought was so lovely of her, and it was such a wonderful surprise, and I'm so excited to grow them. So yes, where were we? Back here. So we've spoken about the sad Monstera. I do need to look into that and see what's going on. My Hoya, what one is this? Is this a Hoya pubicalyx splash? I think maybe it is. Has grown pretty extremely out of its little terrarium thing that I've had it in. This is just an open terrarium. And it is actually starting to twine itself around my Monstera, so I do think that I need to get this one on a trellis pronto. The growth it's given me though is just so pretty. Like, it is so silvery and splashy and gorgeous. Just look at that. So yeah, I've got, look, God, just like random stuff just crammed in down there. I really need to have an organise and a sort out. Another one that I'm not sold on at the moment, one that isn't looking particularly happy, and I do think it is just because I've been slightly neglecting it, is my Philodendron Burl Marks. This one originally was variegated and it is no longer variegated. I've just let it revert. I've just, as I say, been neglecting this one quite a bit. It's been over in the corner over there for ages because it had pests a while ago, and although it's now, I do believe, pest free, I've given it a really good check over several times, it's just not getting the love that it deserves. And I don't know, like, I haven't got rid of anything yet so far this year, and I haven't like set up any swaps or anything like that, but it is one that I'm kind of like, do I want it? Do I want it? Do I want to fill my collection with something I actually want to grow more? I do really like it, but I don't know. This, yeah, just like look at all that yellowing. It's just not very healthy or happy right now. And when plants get to this level in my collection, I just think, God, someone else could be enjoying this plant so much more than me. And I don't know, I kind of don't feel like it's right if I'm not loving a plant to have it and just kind of watch it fade away, you know? So yeah, that is one that I might consider chopping and propagating or rehoming this year. Another one that I think I may need to kind of chop up and reset, or I may just like not need to, but I think maybe I want to, is my Caladium lindenii. This is one that's been living through in the bedroom for like the last year, and I've said it before, but a lot of the time my plants in the bedroom, just because I don't go in there quite as much, and obviously Ross works from home as well, so I don't ever really go in there during the day. They do sometimes get a little bit neglected, and this one has been neglected several times over. It's so much smaller than it was when I first got it, and it has had thrips about 3 or 4 times. Again, I think it's all clear now. I've given it the best check I possibly can, and I'm just being like, I'll keep watching you closely. But yeah, it's one that I think maybe if I was to give a full chop back to, I might just be able to grow a little bit better. I know I often do that, and then I will feel much better about the plants. Also, this is bad. One thing that I just didn't, because I obviously shove everything up against windows at this time of year, I didn't realise quite how bad it was. This is gross, by the way. But all along the backs of the window, it's got like black mould, which I know is so bad for you to breathe in. So again, I only noticed it the other day, and I'm like, I do need to like pull everything out, give all around the window frames a really good scrub, and just try and get things a little bit better, because as I say, it's not only not nice to look at, it's bad for you to breathe in. So I guess that's just from high humidity levels. Like, I know it has been so cold outside recently. We have had quite a lot of condensation on the windows. I think it just builds up. And so, yeah, I need to deal with that. Also, you may be able to see there's plants on the balcony that I need to deal with. And annoyingly, we've been having building works going on this building, and a very long story short, they've basically decided to take the scaffolding down for the time being so that they can we don't have to keep paying for the scaffolding to be up when works aren't happening. And they've stripped a load of the cladding off and they've left it on my balcony, meaning that I can't open my balcony doors. And I've got plants out there that need attention. Like, my yucca is somehow surviving out there. I've got 2 jade plants, both of which look like they are about to die. My big alocasia portadora is out there. Like, I've got plants that I need to get to, but frustratingly, I just cannot get to them at the moment. So yeah, that is very, very, very annoying. I think maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's been doing my head in for weeks. But yeah, that's why the balcony looks very messy and dead planty. But then what's going on over here? Oh, this was a sad thing that happened. So my Anthurium bulletus, which is an anthurium that I absolutely love. But if you watched my anthurium video where I like ranked all my anthuriums recently, this one is one that I've really struggled with, and it hasn't given me any new growth in ages. And over Christmas, I started noticing that it was giving me a little leaf, and I was like, oh my God, that is so exciting. And I looked at the leaf one day and there was a thrip on it, and I was like, no. And I very carefully, like delicately went like that to squash the thrip. And look what's happened. It's like snapped the main vein of the plant. So I don't know. So far the leaf is still surviving, but I'm just not sure how long it's going to keep going, or maybe if there's going to be further issues. I don't know. As I say, sod's law. So I'm leaving it there. I'm desperately trying not to touch it any more than I have to. And I do hope that maybe it just keeps growing beautifully. But yeah, that was so frustrating. Also, if we just look through here, my Anthurium SP Condor has given me this new leaf, which is so exciting. I'm so excited about the potential of that plant. Like, when it's big and mature, it looks so gorgeous and loby, and it's just quite juvenile at the moment. So I'm really hoping that that is the start of some beautiful, big, mature growth. And then everything else up here, I'm trying to think if there's anything that's actually worth updating you on. My Cuban Oregano Mexican Mint is going crazy, like absolutely crazy. It's tumbling down the front of the window. I've got it again growing in no drainage. It's been such an easy plant for me, and I just adore it. So again, I think a repot and definitely a chop back is on the cards at some point soon. The one thing I do want to say as well is that this plant here, this is the one that I was really worried about. This is, oh God, what is it? I think it's a variegated, is it a Dischidia? I wanted to say Hoya, but I think actually it is a Dischidia. And I got this one from a local garden centre, like on, you might have watched that video, but I took it off like a hanger. It was displayed on a hanger, and it looked quite cool, but I was just like, it's a nightmare to keep on top of. So I transferred it to semi-hydro, and I don't know if you can see, but all of those roots there in the last kind of month have really kicked into action, and the plant is now starting to put out new growth. Like, you see that little bit just there. Yeah, as I say, such a relief, because I had messages from you guys being like, I bought the same type of plant and it's not doing well for me. And I was just like, oh God, what have I done? Have I made the biggest mistake? But so far, I never want to jinx it, but so far it feels like it probably was a good decision. And then, right, now we're back into chaos zone, the bit that I struggle to get to. The other thing that you might be able to notice is I've got so many watermarks on the floors, and over the Christmas period I was kind of thinking about what I could do to fix this, and I tried sanding back a little area and not varnishing it, but like re-waxing it, and it did work. So at some point in the coming weeks, I'm gonna sand back all of the floor here, and yeah, the hope that I can just get it back to as it should be. The reason that this has happened is over the couple of years that I've lived here, I've had lots of alocasias along the front here, because obviously they need highlight, and wooden floors and guttation with alocasias, because alocasias, they typically, one actually isn't a great one to show you, but when they're really, really hydrated, they often produce like water droplets that just fall from their leaves the whole time, and that means that there has been lots of staining on the floor. So yeah, it's fixable, but it's just another thing to do. Again, yeah, weird Monstera hanging there. My Anthurium pallitiflorum, oh my goodness. The apple of my eye. Love this plant more than anything. It's just so wonderful, so gorgeous. It is producing pollen at the moment because it gave me an inflorescence, so I do want to harvest that pollen and maybe try some cross-pollination this year. I really hope I get the chance to. I did put some Anthurium clarinervium pollen onto that inflorescence because it's all I had. I'm pretty certain that like those two types of anthuriums can't be hybridized, but I was like, there's no harm in doing it, because what if? So yeah, I did that, and I will harvest the pollen, but currently it's just growing as is in the window, the only place I've got space for it at the moment. And then, I know I said maybe I wouldn't walk through here. Maybe I will. Maybe I will just pull a few things out. And try and squeeze through. Oh, this is a fun one. So if I tilt the camera right down, my Regal Magnificum hybrid gave me this beautiful, beautiful leaf recently, which I'm so happy about, because this is, oh my God, it's one of my favourite types of Anthurium hybrids in my collection, but the Regal is one that I've struggled so much with, so I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to be any good with this one, and so far it seems positive. In fact, just here as well, this is, and I haven't checked on this in ages, but one of the other Drymonia cherubaganas. Oh yay! Yay, look at that! Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's another section that I'd propped in sphagnum moss. In fact, I'm going to take this back here carefully so that I can do a proper check of it after this video. Pop it on the shelf for now. But yeah, then my Anthurium Draconoptarum gave me this new leaf as well just before Christmas, which is so exciting. Again, everything is so squished and crowded together here at the moment. I want to do a chop and extend on my Philodendron Majestic, because this one has very much reached the top of its moss pole. But everything is, like, I would say on the whole, oh my God, that one is coming off its moss pole as well. It's my glorious. Everything in this area is just, like, impossible to get to, but doing okay, I think. All my little anthuriums on that shelf through there, I think in order to give you, like, a good update on them, I should probably get them out one by one, which I might actually do in a sit-down video at some point next week. Again, like, I think everything is looking fine in that area. It's just a bit of a difficult one to monitor when, yeah, I'm just a little out of space. Also, my Begonia Sinbad down there, just bursting into life. I love that plant so much. Definitely one of my favourites at the moment. It has been, in fact, a pretty solid favourite for the last kind of 5 months since I've had it. It's just such a gorgeous plant. And also the begonia that I think is called a Coralina. Just put the gimbal through there. That one is just doing insanely. It's giving me beautiful, beautiful, beautiful growth. So yeah, let me just back out of this area. But yeah, that is how most things are doing in this space at the moment. As I say, I've got so many plants just squished together in the bedroom. I'm gonna make it my mission to get on top of everything this month and just try and like find good spaces for things, because as I say, I've got so many things just squished into corners, and although I love them, I feel like I'm just not fully able to appreciate them. So I think we're starting the new year in a pretty good place. There are things that need to be done, but on the whole, I'm pretty happy with everything. So yeah, I will come back to you with some more updates once I kind of get everything out of the bedroom and find some proper spaces for it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's really nice to just start by going through and looking at everything with you guys and having a chat through it all, because I feel like I've got a better idea of where I'm at now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.
If you are still watching this video, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Some pretty major things are about to change here, and these are some massive new plant shelves that I've just ordered and I'm so excited about. So yeah, I'm going to be having a pretty huge shift up of things in the next few weeks, hopefully. So stay tuned, and I will leave sneaky updates throughout videos. So if you have made it this far and you're listening to this, leave that emoji down below. But yeah, stay tuned.